This is Chris Lee of Southeastern 14, presented by Bearded Iris, here to do SEC baseball power rankings heading into week 8. Yeah, we are at the midway point of the regular season, which is hard to believe, and heading into the fourth weekend of conference play. We always start at the bottom, and we've got 3 teams at 1-8 in the league. They are Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Georgia. I go Mississippi State last, thanks to a minus 65 run differential. That is really shocking. But Mississippi State's problem is really simple. It's pitching. State is giving up 2.48 base runners per inning in the SEC. By comparison, Vandy's at 1.05. The league averages around 1.7. That is how bad it has been for State, and it has just been shocking to watch. Number 13, I've got Georgia. I went with Ole Miss at 12, despite the fact both have a minus 28 run differential. Ole Miss's pitching has been about that much better, I guess. And frankly, you give the Tide the defending national champion when in doubt. So I will go Ole Miss at 12 and Georgia at 13. Checking in at number 11, Auburn. Butch Thompson has had some injuries to Joseph Gonzalez. That's been a big thing. That's really shaped, I guess, a lot of Auburn's problems. The Tigers have managed to go 3-6 despite that, and did take a game in Gainesville this weekend. But boy, just being able to field the ball when it's put in play. Auburn is giving up a .399 batting average on balls in play. Its pitching staff is in the league. That is not a recipe to win when you've got some teams under 300. Auburn at minus 35 in run differential and a 3-6 record. Also 3-6, but with a minus 14 run differential is Missouri. Missouri maybe is debatably had better than the 10th best season in the league, but the injuries are piling up in Columbia, particularly to the pitching staff. Missouri has lost 6 straight in the league after sweeping Tennessee to open the conference series, and I'm afraid it could be downhill here from Missouri with some injuries. See how that goes. Okay, number 9, I've got Texas A&M for lack of a better idea. And A&M's issue, and again, the schedule has been tough in the league, but it's been pitching. Here's a couple stats that just really don't inspire a lot of confidence in A&M's pitching staff. A&M is giving up free passes in SEC play to 18% of the hitters it faces. It is only striking out 19.2. That 1% difference is the next lowest mark in the league. Georgia's got the worst staff. It essentially issues a free pass to every man it strikes out. But anyway, A&M has got a good lineup, and the Aggies have hit a little bit in SEC play. But it's just hard to win without better pitching than that. And A&M is going to need to find it between now and then. Certainly it's got more potential than it has shown, but pitching has been very much a concern for the Aggies. Number 8, I've got Alabama. And Alabama is a team that I think is a little bit better than people realize by looking at the 3-6 record in league play. Alabama's got a +2 run differential. Alabama pitchers also in SEC games are giving up the second fewest number of base runners allowed. That's a really good indicator of pitching quality. I think Alabama's going to get it turned around, make a regional, and finish with a better record maybe than people are thinking as they look at the Crimson Tide sitting at 3-6 heading into weekend number 4 in SEC play. Number 7, the Tennessee Vols, a team that I really am having a hard time knowing what to do with. You look at some underlying metrics. I think Tennessee is still a hosting caliber team. Will the Vols get there? Man, I don't know. Tennessee's not beaten a lot of good teams so far. Most of the good teams it has played, it lost to. But Tennessee's got a lot of pitching, and even with the rotation being disappointing, the bullpen's been really good. The bats started to come around in Baton Rouge when the Vols weren't facing Paul Skeens. Tennessee 4-5 with a -5 run differential, checking in at number 7, but with the chance to move up. Arkansas at number 6 has been the most overachieving team in league play according to run differential. Arkansas is -2 in run differential in league play, despite the 6-3 record. Now look, I get that run differential is kind of a weird stat. You can be down a lot of runs in the game and just throw your back end bullpen guys out and get crushed. I get that, but everybody faces that same situation. And Arkansas also has been hurt by some pitching injuries. to key guys, and I think that's hurt. Dave Van Horn always does as good of a job as any coach in the league in terms of getting a lot out of his talent, and hats off to him for going 6-3 at this point in the season, despite those injuries. Okay, number 5, I've got Florida, and that's probably going to raise some eyebrows, and I will explain why I've got other teams in front of the Gators that I do. It's pitching. Florida's rotation has been awful the last couple of weekends. The bullpen has picked it up a good bit, but Florida allowing 1.5 runners per inning in the SEC. Now, that's below average in a league that is very offensive heavy right now, but the starting pitching sprout was awful last weekend. Jack Caglianone has not been good recently. Waldrop was okay last week, not great, but walked a lot of guys. Florida will get better, I think, but right now I just like other pitching staffs in the league better than the Gators. And in a league where outs are hard to get, I put a premium on depth and quality of rotation, and that's why I've got the two teams, or really the other teams in front of the Gators that I've got. I've got South Carolina at number 4, Carolina 8-1 compared to Florida's 7-2. South Carolina plus 32 in run differential in the league, Florida plus 17. Man, Carolina's just so deep on the mound right now. It is leading the league in home runs in all games. Just a lot of things going right for Coach Mark Kingston in Columbia, and that 8-1 start, very reflective of a pitching staff that can go 7, 8, 9 guys deep, and not a lot of drop-off. Even though Will Sanders has not been the Will Sanders we expected, it is that pitching depth that has kept Carolina chugging along with an 8-1 record. Now, look, schedules have also played a part. I've got Kentucky at number 3, and I've got Vandy at 2. And Vandy, Kentucky, and Carolina have played the easiest schedules in the league, but they've also dominated the competition. Kentucky has scored 76 runs. It has given up 26. 26 is the lowest mark in the league in terms of runs allowed in league play, and 76 is the second highest run scored total in league play. Kentucky is defending well. It is getting good relief. It's getting good starting pitching. It is really running people to death and putting the ball in play and doing a lot of stuff offensively to really press defenses. I'm big on pitching. Kentucky has got it. It has pitched well all year. It is number 1 in the RPI right now. And I think, frankly, Kentucky is being underrated a little bit because it's Kentucky. And we're not looking at Kentucky and expecting Kentucky to be where it is. But really like the job Nick Mingione has done so far. And frankly, if he's not the SEC Coach of the Year right now and maybe the National Coach of the Year right now, I would have a hard time arguing for someone ahead of him, given what the Cats had coming into the year, how good a job he has done building this program and rebuilding it. And the Cats sitting at 8-1 and number 1 in the RPI right now have an outstanding shot to host if they can just keep it up. Okay, number 2 in my SEC Power Rankings, I've got Vandy, the only unbeaten team at 9-0. Now, look, the Commodores have been at home 2 weekends. They've also played, along with Kentucky and South Carolina, probably the easiest schedule in the league. But Vandy's 111 runs are miles better than Kentucky's 76, which is the highest run total in the league, in league games other than Vandy. It's 29 runs allowed, are just barely trailing Kentucky and way ahead of the pack behind there. It's plus 82 in run differential, is hands down the best in the league. The Commodores have not made an error in SEC play, have just been really, really outstanding in all 3 phases of the game. We'll see what Vandy can do as the schedule gets tougher, which it will starting probably 2 weekends from now when Vandy and Kentucky play in Nashville. But right now, I just can't slot Vanderbilt anywhere other than 2. Number 1, I've got LSU. LSU is 6-3. It is plus 23 in run differential in league play. Everybody knows about the lineup. Everybody knows about Paul Skeens. Dylan Cruz is having, I don't know, maybe the best hitting season in the 20 years I've followed SEC baseball of any hitter. He's hitting over 540 right now, I believe. LSU, again, 6-3 in league play. That is 3 games behind Vandy for the overall lead. But the Tigers, number 1 overall. They've played a tougher schedule in terms of league play than has Vandy. And I think you've kind of got to keep LSU there until it's obvious that LSU is not the number 1 team in the country, which is where pretty much everybody's ranking the Tigers. So I'll keep them there. I'm Chris Lee of Southeastern 14. Baseball content coming every day. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. That'll help us get noticed. And we'll see you again soon.